resetting. Yep, there we go. Okay. And the next one, thanks. All right, so what I'm going to talk about, and it's a little bit challenging for me from this perspective because I can't see faces, so I can't read the room, and I have no one here apart from you guys that I know that are on this call that are listening. So by any, I guess, stretch of the imagination, if you have any questions, then please reach out here if we can get the questions answered. Or otherwise reach out to me directly. I'm quite open to having a conversation with anybody who wants to have a chat about how we can help you stump up and stand up your cyber landscape and understand the technology space a little bit better, including tool sets and the new kind of crazy things that are going on in the marketplace. So, all right, so what we're talking about now is we're just going to run through an opportunity for everybody here to get involved in some more maturity space around the cyber. So we all know that it's not unusual, and we're going to talk about the allied health space predominantly and not other areas that I've worked in, but we all know that you are an attack vector. If you wouldn't be like everybody else, right? There's no difference between healthcare and the building industry, for example. It's not about you, it's about what we can get out of you from an attacker perspective. But we all know that the information that you guys have in relation to patient records, that sort of stuff, your internet service providers, where they are, so they're mainly offshore, I suggest, especially if you're doing cloud, how that ties into your any encryption you have, all these sorts of things that we all kind of testing it in our space in cyber. So you are vulnerable. Many operate with limited cybersecurity resources like your formal controls, which is true. Even though you may log on and you log on to your password into your computer, a lot of the stuff behind that, you might open up Google Gmail, for example, and use that as an operational mail, business email, and the like. There's things we need to pay attention to because it's not all out of the box full-on certified controls. So we need to tweak a few things. And we all know that when you do breach or you do have a data breach, each of you that have a business or involved in a business have an opportunity and an obligation under legislation to report that, especially with the type of information that you are dealing with. Go to the next slide, thanks. So in that context, what we're looking at about is you take the mentality that security is everybody's business, right? But the most important thing I want to say to you, if it's not the most important thing, it's going to be one of the most important things that I want you to take away from this session today is security isn't about technology, it's about business risk. So some of you and some of the people I speak to when I speak at other cyber conferences and the like get a little bit antsy about when I say it's not about technology because a lot of the people are technologists. But it's not, because technology is just an enabler. What we're doing now is technology enabled. What we're trying to do is secure it so we can run the business. And if you have that mentality that it's a business issue and not a technology issue, it changes the focus of what you actually do. It actually becomes a more important part of your business to move that forward. So moving on to what we're doing at PHN, we are, as all PHNs are, moving towards ISO 27001, and that is a cybersecurity standard. There are a number of other standards in the world, but we've chosen, as most of Australia has, to go 20001. There are other ones like the NIST framework and the like, which are equally good. There's a few nuances that are different, but this one makes sense in this environment a lot more. And so as a result, the providers must align with the national privacy security obligations under the Privacy Acts and other acts that are in there, the OAIC, etc. So you're probably starting to get your heads around that sort of space. And an uplift provider security maturity reduces third-party risks and support. So when we talk about that, you guys are generally all third parties to us, a supply chain, you might say. So you might have PHN might be the key body, and then you have suppliers and clients and contracts out there in this landscape. So when we talk about that, the weakest link might not be the PHN, it may be a supply chain supplier, which generally is the case because they don't have a maturity uplift, you don't have the budget, you don't have the teams, example. But there are things we can do to reduce those risks and things we can do to align you to the ISO framework. Oh, next slide, thanks. Slide, man. Thank you. So what we're doing now is I want to introduce you to the DSI's SMB 1001. So this, if you're on your computer, go and have a crack at having a look at it. Just Google SMB 1001. DSI is a international standard. SMB is small to medium business. So you don't have to put in and get certified, for example, in 27001 that we're doing, because it's a much bigger protocol and platform, and it's a lot more expensive for a start. This particular framework has been designed for small to medium business. And when you go into it, you'll see that there's a range of levels that come across and you can purchase as a license. So we're actually going to do a pilot, and we'll get into this shortly, about when you can express your interest in doing this, and we're going to run this with you. So the idea here is to bring you up to a maturity level that is a 1, which is from a none to 1. And that is to get you moving forward in the next 6 to 12 months really securely. And from there, you can increase your level of security awareness and security compliance moving forward. It's totally targeted towards your own business. It's brand new. It's been out for about maybe 6 months now. And a lot of IT providers who aren't security providers, so let me just qualify that. If you have an IT provider, they are IT. They are not cyber. It's a completely different world. So your IT providers now can actually plug into this a little bit easier. And if they don't, then you might need to have a conversation around what that looks like. It's affordable, it's achievable, it's low cost, low maintenance, low resource environment. So it's going to suit your area very well. And a focus on practical controls and policy, and a lot of risk management. Go to the next slide, thanks. Okay, so we're running a pilot, and we're inviting you to express your interest and be involved in the pilot. I believe there's some sort of ability for you to log on or get into that. At the event, if we were going to hold this in person, then I believe there would have been a sign-on sheet or something similar for you to actually do. So I don't know how they've worked that out today, but anyway, I'm sure they'll tell us. So what we're after, we're going to do a pilot of 20 small to mediums, and that's 10 of the small side and 10 of the medium side. And the idea is to up your level of hands-on technical control across your network. So the idea is to set up for you and with you your multi-factor authentication, a VPN for you, an antivirus, to help you manage your backups, how that works, password management, and the firewall. So they're the baseline things. And we're also going to license the SMB 1001 to you, so you'll get that whole framework in place as well. So we'll supply you with the documentation. We'll work with you technically in the documentation with our technical cyber team. You'll be stumped up and build this capability for you, all for nothing. If there's more that you need to do and there's more that you want to do, then that'll be an ongoing engagement with that service provider or your IT provider. But at least we're going to get you up to a standard that's going to give you a lot more security, peace of mind, and understanding about your systems. And I'm writing a governance pack for you as well. So you'll have the baseline policies around those particular technical things. I'm looking at the screen right now. So I'll give you a password policy, we'll give you a backup policy, we'll give you an antivirus overview, multi-factor authentication. So when you look at and you have your own business running and you go, I need to know more about that, we have a policy suite that you can look into. We'll do a little bit around incident management and give you some context about that. And we'll have a few conversations with you around things like recovery, cyber legislation, and a few other bits and pieces, standard operating procedures and the like. Can I go to the next slide? Cool. So there you go. 10 medium, but they had 10 small, 10 medium. Thought I got my powder wrong there. We all read that. Okay. Can we go to the next slide? Thanks. That's just what I said. All right, what's in and what's out of scope? So those things I said to you before, ongoing software subscription. So if you're subscribing to, which is subscribe to any of the software as a service applications, I'm just trying to think what I subscribe to, EVAI or LinkedIn, not that they're really in your area, but anything that you may subscribe to, like the VPN, we're going to help you with. Which is about $5 or $10 a month. Those sort of costs for you ongoing will be your baby to pay. pretty much. Same with antivirus. Antivirus will come in a range of solutions and brands, and you can choose from that space. That may be a cost moving forward. I think that's around about, don't quote me here, is probably about $100 a year or something for something like Trend Micro and the like. Password managers, you can do that as well. Some are free, some are not. We'll give you some options. External certification beyond self-assessment level. This level, we're going to self-assess, so help with your assessment. So we'll work with you to understand where you're at. So you're working with our people to understand what your baseline is, what you actually have, and then we'll start that project plan about how we're going to improve you. But anything above that, so if you want to move to a higher level certification with higher standard of SMB, which will be in front of you, you can see that progression space, then that's going to be a cost to you guys. But at least we've got you, well on the way to making that move forward for you. In integration to non-health service providers or external IT systems. So this is everything that your IT provider does now, for example, or you subscribe now to. There's no effect on that. In terms of this project won't enable us to secure those systems for you. Go to the next slide, thanks. Okay, cool. So pilot scope and approach. So we need to identify those of you that are interested. There's no obligation. So if you kind of interested, want to kick it a bit, have a look, have a chat, by all means, put your EOI in and we'll have a discussion. I think that's the best way to start. Even if you are like, on the borderline for it, just put in an EOI. That gives me and you an opportunity to sit down and actually have a deep dive a bit and see where you're at, see what I can help you with, point you in the right direction, hook you up with some really good people in my industry that you may want to work with. And we'll have mapped out those technical controls with you as well. That's pretty much that slide. Can we go to the next one? Thanks. Okay, cool. So we will, the one in here that I want to pay attention to quickly for you is that we will most likely, because obviously we're a remote environment these days, it will most likely, unless you're in unless you're in Tasmania really, because the guy who's going to be managing most of this is Tasmanian, and he'll travel up if he needs to travel up and speak to you one-on-one if that's the requirement, but predominantly it'll be an on-site or virtual security uplift session. So it'll be like this. We'll be sitting down and having conversations with you, and he can work with you on your technology stack. We're going to know things like what you're running, so what operation systems you're running, those sorts of technical requirements. So if you don't know, it'll be a face-to-face screen session where you need to go and press that button there, open that up. Cool, this is what we're seeing. Okay, we'll log that down. You've got Windows 10, for example, or whatever that might be, and how we move forward in that space. And while we're doing this, we're going to be collecting some metrics and feedback for you. So we actually want to understand where you're at today and how this project's helped you get to tomorrow. So that may be a ramp up, and maybe a slow ramp, or maybe an even ramp, depending how secure your systems are today and what you're operating on. This is not a session around, you're not using the latest buzzword or system. That doesn't matter to us. What matters to us is that we've actually matured you and given you an uplift here. If you want to continue to run those systems, if their legacy systems are not supported, we'll tell you that it's a risk. We'll show you why, and it's entirely up to you to go and purchase or uplift that environment. But effectively, we're looking for a couple of things. Are we helping you? Is the SMB delivering what it's said to deliver for you? Did you get the right service? Did you get the right outcome that you're seeking, that you're trying to mature on, and how we can help you moving forward? Because this is not just your guys' problem, this is your patient's problem as well. Okay, can I have the next slide, thanks. Cool, all right, so the statement says itself. By all means, any questions? I'll open the floor now for any questions. So if anybody's got anything they want to ask, I can't see anything other than that screen and Phoebe. So ask away.